Hey there, welcome back, Watercolor. It's Brad here. This week we're going to be doing still life painting. So still lifes are basically paintings of inanimate objects. So objects that don't move. You're pretty familiar with, I'm sure you're familiar with a lot of them. You've probably seen paintings of fruit, or different culinary paintings of just food lying around, or you might have seen the ones like the vanitas of the old like a skull in there with some other food and stuff that's like decaying and rotting and stuff, kind of depicting the ephemeral qualities of life and so on. Or you might, just arrangements of flowers. So they can be, still lifes can be rather complex, like some of those vanitas, or they can be like highly symbolic and they can tell stories, which I really love. That's one of my favorite things about still lifes is I think every still life does kind of tell a story in one way or another. So, I mean, some are more thought out and deliberate in their storytelling, but I like that. I like to kind of see, the complexity of still lives. But they could be just very simple. Like the story is, I like these flowers and I'm just going to paint them. So whether it's like highly complex and symbolic and you're kind of arranging all these, choosing all these objects and arranging them in a way that tells a narrative, or if it's just like, hey, this is the corner of my room and I just wanted to paint it because I didn't know what else to do. Both are totally good options and it's up to you. In fact, if you want to, you could even move outside for this project. It's maybe not the more traditional still life, but just zoom in on like kind of a small like little flower or bush or something out there. And don't do like a landscape. We're gonna do that next. So don't do like some vast, area of land. So if you're gonna go outside and paint, which I totally get, it's the summer and it's wonderful. So go out there and do that. Or take it inside, avoid the sun, don't get a sunburn or anything, and then you can set up an arrangement. Or you can work from a photo, and that's what I ended up doing, because I ended up painting my son's sandbox. All right, and so I can't do these too long because he will go out there and play with it. So I snapped a photo. Didn't take me too long to do it, but nevertheless, I didn't want to risk it. He's going to be out there playing pretty soon, I'm sure, if he's not out there right now, because he loves this. This is like his thing right now. So I painted his sandbox and that's a still life. And so you guys get to choose whatever you want to do. All right, so I'm going to show you guys just a few steps on like how I created that as well. If you're not interested in kind of seeing how I did some of that, then you can stop watching right now and get started on your own still life right now. Okay, here we go. All right, so a couple things that you'll notice right away. One, my brush is moving twice as fast as it normally does because I've sped up this this video by 2, so it's literally going twice as fast as it took me to do it. So that's the first thing you'll notice. The second thing that you'll notice is that you didn't see me just draw out those objects. I drew them out first, and I figured I didn't want to spend time showing you that drawing process. I figured you guys could figure out how to draw it, and once you've got it drawn on, this is the next stages. So I masked it off using some masking fluid, and I let it completely dry, and then from there I'm just working on pretty wet on dry. The surface, I didn't wet it beforehand, but now it's pretty much like kind of wet on wet. You'll see kind of in that top left corner I got kind of a hard line mark in there, which I wanted to keep so it's not just totally just flowing from one thing to another. I did want those kind of harder lines that break. So that wet on dry allows you to do that. Everywhere else that you can see me working there, it's like kind of pooling up because it's so wet. So that's where the colors are just bleeding together, mixing around. Now you can see I'm dumping salt on it. That's what's going on there. And I'm blotting up with a paper towel in some areas, sucking up some of the water in some areas, lightening up some areas that I didn't want. And so now you can see I'm going kind of working back on top of it, just introducing little bits of color here and there. Just kind of, again, just building up and playing in that wet and wet. So I know there's like salt on there too. I'm just really trying to get a lot of textures, and I'm using that Sumi brush. And right now I just switched to using a toothbrush, as you can see, and I'm just flicking the ends of it. That was actually in real time, and same with this sponge. So I slowed it back down to real time. And so now you can kind of see some of those details, what it looks like. It's pretty cool, like all that little splatter. You can see the splatter from the toothbrush, and you can also see the wet on wet, and like with the salt creating that texture, and then also with the sponge. And now I've let it completely dry, and at this point I'm just peeling back the masking fluid. And again, you have to wait till everything's completely dry, and then you'll have the white of the paper preserved like I have right here. And so now I'm going to start dropping in some of the color, the yellows in these various like construction vehicles, like the backhoe or bulldozer over there, I guess, and excavator there. And I'm painting these pretty loose. You can see like I kind of drop in the colors. I blot it up with a paper towel. And so now I'm just kind of introducing some of the other colors while it's wet. So it's kind of bleeding together. I do want to keep this fairly loose. I don't want to get it too tight. So you can just see I'm kind of bouncing around a little bit. I've kind of mixed up that color. I'm kind of spreading it and using it around in other areas. Then after that's dry, this is that Payne's gray, and it's almost like black when you put it on pretty thick. So I just dabbed it up there a little bit. So you know, part of the fun is putting it on kind of with less water in it, so it's a little bit stronger. And then there's other areas where it's a little bit more watery, for a little bit lighter. So I'm just kind of playing around. I'm trying to preserve just a little bit of light in there. You can kind of see that. I'm not totally just painting all the way to the edges. Sometimes I kill the light if it's kind of down there and it looks kind of off. I don't want like a halo around it, but a little light is okay. And now I'm just peeling off the rest of it. Got a nice clean edge. See, that's in kind of real time right there. Some Johnny Cash playing in the background. It's always good to paint to Johnny Cash. And there we are, we're done. Thanks for watching, guys.